Joining us now, Florida Congressman Byron and Texas Congressman Troy Nehls. All right, gentlemen, thank you for coming on. Mr. Byron, I'm a cynic. I don't believe a word of it. Less than 20 miles. It's really going to help some kind of entry points and babysitting and registration. And if they were serious, they'd have done this 3 years ago. What do you think about this new announcement?
This announcement's come out, Larry, simply because the president's poll numbers suck. Everybody knows our southern border is a mess. You have the mayor of New York, Eric Adams, is planning to go down to do something the president has never done, which is see the southern border in person and actually look at it. And so this White House is reeling. So they have to respond to the political damage they've caused, the actual damage that they've caused, and they're going to throw this fig leaf. But there is significant work that needs to be done at the southern border. House Republicans have a plan for that. It's called H.R. 2. It's sitting there for the Senate to take up any time that they want to. We are committed that as we have to go through government appropriations, that the border must be secured, not this 20 miles that Joe Biden's talking about. It's all the fixes in H.R. 2.
Mr. Troy Nehls, welcome back. You know, I want to pick up from Byron. I mean, H.R. 2 is a very powerful piece of legislation tied to an appropriations. I don't hear the Bidens embracing that. I don't hear the Senate Democrats, Chuck Schumer Democrats, embracing that. But, you know, Troy, here's my other thought. If they were serious about a real, about face, okay? And look, I don't deny politicians, policymakers can change their minds. But if they were serious, they would be talking about Title 42. They would be talking about remain in Mexico. They would be talking about a truly across Texas border wall, finishing what Trump started, and so forth and so on. They would be talking in the language of closing the borders and protecting our sovereignty, Congressman Nehls. I'm not hearing that language. Am I missing something?
Yeah, you're not hearing that language because what you just said was exactly what Trump did in Trump's border policies. We had the most secure border in my lifetime. But on January 20th, when Joe Biden took office, he reversed them all. He knew it wasn't good for America. He knew that it wasn't good for America, but he did it because he hates Donald Trump. He flipped everything on its head. But now it's campaign season, folks. Remember, we got an election coming up in 2024. His poll numbers are in the toilet, and there are a few people, whispering in his ear and say, Joe, you better do something about the southern border because the American people are paying attention. You're losing your own conference. Even Senator Manchin said, build the wall. We've got problems. So he's going to have to do something if he wants to be the nominee and eventually try to be the next president. But I think it's too late. And it's about damn time that this Congress and the American people are paying attention because it's destroying our country. You want to fix the border problem? Go right back to Donald J. Trump's policies. And I loved it when you played Joe Biden sitting on that chair looking confused when they asked him, do border walls work? He said no. I hope somebody asks him that on the stage in the 2024 campaign against Donald Trump, because Donald Trump will win the election just with that comment alone.
Well, Byron, I mean, that's why I don't believe a word of this change or about face. And I don't hear them talking seriously either about H.R. 2 or, catch and deport. Any of the things remain in Mexico. I just don't buy any of it. And how about this, Byron? You and I, we could wait. He should apologize to Donald Trump. Mr. Trump asked for an apology because Mr. Trump has been right all along. Now, Byron, when do you think that apology from President Biden to Donald Trump is going to take place? Do you think that'll be soon, the apology?
Man, I wish it were. I wish he actually would do the right thing. But I think that would probably come after the 2024 elections when he just goes down to just a terrible defeat. And frankly, Joe Biden deserves to be defeated. Nothing is working right. We're talking about the border, but everything is going wrong. He's the master of disaster, Joe Biden. He's got to be defeated. It's that simple.
Troy, were you an official? Were you a border official before you became into Congress?
No, I was a county sheriff about 4 hours north of the border, Big County. I had people in my county killed by illegals, not just illegals, but ones that have been deported six previous times. We got a southern border crisis. Joe Biden, you own it. And yes, not only should he not get reelected, but he should also be impeached.
Well, they talk about, it's so interesting to me, Mayorkas and others talk about how they're going to have to violate certain laws, like the Endangered Species Act. Like that's the most important thing we should worry about at the border, the Endangered Species Act. The endangered species down at the border is law and order. And then they talk about clean water. I don't know what that has to do with anything. The one law they don't talk about, Mr. Nehls, is closed borders, is American sovereignty, is immigration laws that are being broken on a daily basis. My pal Mark Levin was on this show 2 nights ago talking about that. There could be an impeachable offense. Now, they're not talking about those laws. And that's one of the reasons this thing sounds so phony to me, Troy.
It doesn't. I tell you, Governor Abbott and other governors in the southern states are doing what they can to augment the Border Patrol. Texas here, we're sending DPS troopers, our National Guard, to do what we can to secure the Texas people. I tell you, but when you have this administration and you have their attitude, we know this is borderless. It's borderless by design. My book's coming out, Borderless by Design, because, Larry, this is about votes in the future. That's what this is all about. It's by design.
Byron Donalds, talk to us a bit, if you would, please, about H.R. 2. What's in it and why it could solve the border problem?
Well, we do a couple of things in that bill. Number one, we actually reinstate border agents' ability to make determinations of credible fear. We do not allow people to claim asylum at the southern border or illegal points of entry. They got to do that in the nations that they're in, or at a country that with the nearest consulate and or embassy. We actually would stop the use of the CPB-1 app. That's an app that they're using in the administration to basically put the asylum process on Uber Eats. You could just file for asylum wherever you want to and just show up unannounced like that. It gets rid of those 3 things. It puts cap on the number of asylums that can be triggered in a year for our country. It actually puts a limit on bed spaces available, all common sense things so that people want to come to our country through asylum or any other process. It's orderly, not just for those people, but it's orderly for the country to accommodate and assimilate those people into our states and into our cities. The Joe Biden plan is no plan. It's pure chaos and disaster. That's why it's got to be completely undone. H.R. 2 can do that.
And Troy Nehls, we're going to get a change in leadership for the House Republicans. I get that. But H.R. 2 will be a key component, I hope, of future budget negotiations whenever push comes to shove in the middle of November. The Democratic Senate may not like it, but can we count on Republicans to push H.R. 2 hard? Because that would be an ultimate solution, I think, for the border crisis.
Yeah, we did. And we did pass H.R. 2 in the Republican conference. We got 219 votes. It passed. We sent it over to Chuck Schumer, but we know he's not going to do anything about it. He's not going to do anything with the conservative bills that we've been passing in the House of Representatives. And I don't think he's going to work with us at all. We just need to, I tell you, Larry, you want to fix our country, we need the White House back in 2024. And you know who my guy is, Donald J. Trump.
All right. Gentlemen, thank you very much, Mr. Byron Donalds of the great state of Florida, Mr. Congressman Troy Nehls of Texas. Thank you for coming on, gentlemen. Appreciate it.